Hello, it's Meg. I just filmed this and it doesn't seem like it worked. Okay. Which stinks, but whatever. Let's do this. This is for Janaki and everyone. Anyone who needs the info. So a while ago I got this deck, the polyvagal card deck, and I had mentioned it in a video and I was not impressed by it. And there were no like walkthroughs or anything like that of it. Maybe I should also do one of these, but it has, it's just not as accessible. So it has like introductory, sympathetic, relational, ventral, dorsal, bonus cards. So it's about the polyvagal theory of like the nervous system. And the way that a lot of the things were worded and laid out was just like, do an exercise that like, activates the ventral vagal. I was like, oh, can you use normal words, like, please? So I was looking for a nervous system deck just that had like, because sometimes I don't want to like go online, like being online is like a part of the thing that is stressful to me, or I'm having a hard time and that's not, a place I want to go. So, and that's where a lot of like vagus nerve exercises are kept. In fact, I'll link some of the ones that I like below. A friend just sent me some more that I've been enjoying too. So this deck, having a deck like this was interesting to me. So I got this one, and there wasn't really walkthroughs of this either. This is the Hack Your Nervous System one. 60 evidence-based practices to help alleviate anxiety, reduce stress, and retrain your nervous system. And this is by Brianna Rose. It looks like she's an LMHC, which is some sort of counselor, I think. And then RYT, which is a registered yoga teacher. I think that's what that means. Literally am one also, don't know. Alright, so the deck is separated into 3 sections. It has one little title card. This is the first section. I'll call it the first section. It's mild stress / maintenance. So the images on the one side of the card are all the same, which I know we're not like stoked about because we want something different. But I think that maybe that might be a good thing in this case. Not really sure. So the first one here is Breath of the Heart, and it's a exercise to do, and these have, so it has like how to do the thing and then a little like why it's helpful, which I really, really like. And then there's like a little image that goes with it. Balancing your heart's rhythm pattern through breath practice creates a state called coherence, indicated by increased order and harmony in the mind, emotions, and body. Twist it out. So this is a yogic twist combined with deep breathing stimulates the vagus nerve, which creates a calming effect. Seeking sparkles. So sparkles here are identifying at least one micro moment, a sparkle if you will, during which you feel safe, peaceful, connected, happy, or simply okay. When you find that sparkle, hold it in your awareness for 20 to 30 seconds before letting it go. Within the sparkle, notice the quality of your thoughts, your breath, your emotions, and your physical sensations. Over time, seeking sparkles retrains your nervous system to seek and savor positive, connected, and joyful experiences. Very true. And sometimes things like this are hard, or you think it's not working. Same with like meditation, but with like consistency over time, you'll notice. And that's maybe like a difficult aspect too, which is why I think the cards are helpful, because you can just have them, as a reminder and like a suggestion. So something I was doing in my planners last year is having like, not like a habit tracker at the bottom, but like something that was like a suggestion of things that I could do. So, like take a bath or go for a walk on the treadmill. So this one's drawing in the senses, and it's a yoga practice that's going to improve focus and increase mindfulness. Earthing. It's exactly what you think it is. A daily practice of earthing is proven to reduce inflammation, anxiety, pain, stress, improve blood flow, energy, and generate greater well-being. I have an entire book about earthing. I might have gotten rid of it because I had it for years and I kept reading it, but it's exactly what you think it is. So it's not very, it feels like intuitive, right? Running for peace. Running naturally requires your body to adjust to irregular breathing patterns, which leads to improved nervous system regulation and greater ability to manage stress. The other thing about running or walking or doing any sort of like forward movement is that it helps your anxiety. And the other another thing with this is it's like a bilateral stimulation, so it's going to be similar in like the theory of the ways that like EMDR or oh my gosh, what's it called? The thing where you look at a point. It's not EMDR, but it's like the cousin of it. It's like the thing that came later. Brain spotting. So, you know, you're connecting both sides, and I mean, there's so many reasons why these things are, you know, moving your body, walking or running is like going to be helpful. But also it's been shown that forward motion is helpful for anxiety as well. Finding ground. So this is just lying on the floor or sit comfortably in a chair with a supportive back. So it's sort of like meditation. This reminds me of like Shavasana and yoga, which is, you know, arguably one of the most important postures. I mean, in every yoga class, it has Shavasana at the end, right? But not every yoga class has like, you know, like a warrior pose or like any of these other things. But it does always have this. Optimize your posture. Giving the side eye. I really like this one a lot. So this is something that I do as a vagus nerve thing most days, I guess. Or like I switch it up. It's one that's in my toolbox, my kit, my my practices. So this one is lie on your back or interlace your hands behind your head and lean back. So how I do is I lie on my back with my hands interlaced behind my head to sort of support my head and have my head be facing up in the same spot. And then I have my knees up too. Keep your head still with your nose pointed up to the sky and shift your gaze to the far left edge of your room. Focus and hold your gaze, like as far as you can go. Focus and hold your gaze until you experience a sigh, a yawn, or a deepened breath. And this signals a nervous system reset. Repeat on the other side. I do this, and I usually count while I'm doing it because I like to know. The other thing too, just talking about eyeballs and stuff like that, there is a yogic practice that like eye yoga. I used to do this in, I don't know if it's like a thing, but in Kundalini I would do this if you wear glasses, if you have like eye problems, or if you're looking at a screen, which you are doing right now. If you Google eye yoga and look at the images, there's, you know, it'll show you. But I mean, it's pretty simple. It's just you look, same principle where you're just sitting and you like look, keep your nose forward and you look all the way up to like the left corner, and then like the opposite, so right bottom corner, and then upper right corner, and then down, and then like side, far side to the other side, and then all the way up, all the way down, and then you'll roll your eyeballs one way and then roll them the other. And ooh, it feels weird and it's helpful and nice, but it's like that, you know, it's like stretching. Okay, eating your peace. Foods and herbs that naturally help balance your nervous system. Adaptogens, chamomile, holy basil, probiotics, avocado, cacao, leafy greens, omega-3 fatty acids, MCT oil. And then it says to check with your doctor before consuming any of these foods. I think it's pretty safe to eat leafy greens. Just saying. And there's more than this too. And adaptogens, that's one category, but there's so many in that category. My favorites lately, holy basil is also an adaptogen. I love holy basil. That's one I use a lot. It tastes the way that someone very important to me like smells, which I really love. It's very, I don't know, it's very nice. And that could just be me. And shatavari is the other one that I've been using. I do use ashwagandha once in a while, but it's important when you're using herbs to, if you're not consulting a professional herbalist, which would be a cool thing to do, because usually in that case they'll give you like a bottle, and that you just take that amount of it. When the bottle's gone, then you're done. But when you're doing something like this, you don't want to do it every day, forever, you know, like if you do it every day, then after 3 months or a certain amount of time, switch it up. But again, look all these things up, you know, be you're your best advocate, like figuring these things out, you know, your body the best. And I feel like a lot of people who have like issues with anxiety kind of know a little bit about herbs in a sense, or like food things, because of, I mean, being anxious about like food stuff, but also like seeking out like those things that can be helpful. All right, resilience routine. Choose 3 cards from this deck that have helped you the most, put them where you can see them, and begin using these exercises regularly. But I mean, that can be anything, right? Like any three things that really help you. So this is the Sphinx pose in yoga. A lot of these is just like, just do yoga, just do some restorative, chill yoga, which I definitely highly recommend. There's been a lot of talk lately of non-sleep deep rest. And I was sort of talking shit about this with a friend the other day, but also my therapist yesterday. I was like, yeah, like people are like, oh, do you know about this new cool thing called non-sleep deep rest? And it's like, yeah, it's yoga nidra. Like it's this thing. Like, but yoga nidra is really extremely helpful for me. Just doing, we would do yin yoga nidra. So beforehand, doing a yoga practice is always helpful for me. Like doing any type of yoga and then having like shavasana on like the rest at the end. But we did a short yin yoga practice and then a long like yoga nidra. And it was not singularly, but one of the most helpful things for me at the time. Anyway, fractal effect. So this is about fractals. Focusing on a fractal for as little as 10 seconds is proven to reduce stress levels, which I love this one because it's a wonderful excuse to buy a fractal themed deck. And there are many, and I have some too. So maybe I'll make a fractal deck video at some point. Free writing clears the mind, reduces stress, and enhances decision making. Gratitude. This game trains your brain to search for sweetness and overrides its tendency to look for what's wrong. Honestly, I think there was one earlier too, sparkles, like things like that, like developing a capacity for joy and contentment, things like that. Like that has been really, really helpful for me too in my life. I didn't even know that I was so miserable to a certain extent, but I knew that I was. And now when I'm like in pain and like things are getting to me, especially like, the physical, like autoimmune things and like the fatigue and stuff like that, those things can really do take its toll. Underneath all of that stuff, I'm still happy. Like, or, maybe I'm not always happy, but like there's this like this contentment and this like appreciation and like, I don't know, like curiosity, and just living's crazy. Sometimes I get down, like sometimes it's just like a perfect storm of like things like feeling sort of wrong and it's hard to like push through, but just gotta wait for it to pass. And this is feet up the wall. This is another yoga posture. This one improves circulation, lowers blood pressure, and activates the vagus nerve. So it says hold for 2 to 10 minutes, and it is what it says. Nature medicine, take your next break outside. Log off, guys. Don't stop watching the video, go outside. Anchor into calm. Identify 3+ answers in each category that bring you a sense of safety, welcome, and balance. Who, friends, family, or animal. What, drinking coffee, reading a book, using tarot decks, looking at pretty pictures on an oracle deck. Where, the forest, the ocean, your room. When, a specific moment from a vacation. When you start to feel anxious or stressed, bring up one of these memories and dive fully into the sensory experience of it. What did you see? This is so... Okay. This practice helps your nervous system more easily access and embody states of calm connection. I had this experience the other day. I actually want to show this to you. Where to go? Oh no, it's underneath some things. So the other day, I was out and about, and was having a really hard time. I went to a few new places that I usually go to were really loud, and it was very, very stressful. And when we were at the final destination, I was like purposefully not fleeing, like I wanted to. But then I came across like a section of dolls, and I was like, so this is a principle for everyone, but also like in like neurodivergent things, it's like when you're able to engage with a special interest, that's very calming, and this is sort of that principle. So I ran into a bunch of dolls. They had like vintage fashion dolls, like old Barbies and all this really cool stuff. and I geeked. I was like, after that I felt way better. Like I was fine. And then I was able to walk around the place again and sort of take in more of the things and like have a fun time, as opposed to faking it like really intensely before, like just being like, yeah, oh, this place is great, weird, you know, like, ooh. And so I was trying to figure out ways to, this is great. This is a really good suggestion. And, it's very reaffirming too, because my idea was to make a, like a little album or make some cards that are collaged images of, you know, friends, family, my pets, you know, things, special interests, and like things that help me feel good, or just, and like cards in general are a special interest. I don't find tarot to be particularly soothing or comforting when I'm out and about. It just feels like a private in my room sort of thing. Unless I'm just talking about like the history or like the system of, but not reading cards, then that can sort of like, I mean, I can talk about that for a really long time, or like, look at this tarot deck, and like, this is the, you know, all that stuff. So I decided to, I have this box that it's from the Archetypes Oracle that I'm going to repurpose, and Kaluna V has a really great video about repurposing tarot boxes, and I want to do that to this one, like the edges, but keep the top the same. And I completely trimmed my Voyager tarot. So the idea is that I keep these, I'm not using it as a tarot anymore. I'm just taking like a chunk of the cards out. And this is just a stand-in until I can make my own cards for myself and have this, you know, these sort of reminders. And I just take this and do this and keep this in my pocket or in my bag with me, so that when I'm out and I'm feeling really intense, I can just look at these and just engage in a special interest. And then when I'm able to make my own cards, I do probably plan to maybe write the little symbols on this deck. Anyway, so I guess what with that example I'm saying is there's like other, you know, knowing yourself and knowing what helps, and putting yourself in these situations and having these experiences to figure out ways that are going to be more helpful like the next time, I guess. Because if I'm just staying at home, I don't know, you know? Like, I'm just afraid and I'm at home. This is a joint release. I'm not going to read it. And expanding connection. Face another person, take a deep breath, and place your hand over each other's hearts. You can choose to keep... This I don't necessarily... This sounds really scary, honestly. Like, I've done stuff like this before. Like, make eye contact with the person next to you, and it's quite stressful. So just know yourself. So this is the orange cards. These are the moderate stress anxiety. So that one was minor and maintenance, like things that you can keep doing regularly in order to keep your nervous system healthy. Footwork. Sit on a supportive chair where your feet comfortably reach the ground. Inhale, press the balls of your feet to the floor. There's tons of stuff. Okay, where heel dropping activates the vagus nerve via the bottom of the foot and reduces racing thoughts by increasing mindfulness. I want to like insert like those like, you know, siren noises from like 2010s dance beats. Like, that's so simple. Buddha breath, so diaphragmatic breathing. Let's see. As you slowly breathe in through your nose, send your breath down the midline of your body, inviting your belly and then chest. Okay, wait. No, it's just your belly. So this is just doing belly breath. There's another breath that I like to do where you fill your belly and then you fill your chest. And then when you're breathing out, you exhale in your chest and then your belly. So you're holding your belly the longest. Speak your piece. This is mantra meditation, lowers physical stress and anxiety and increases focus. Place a hand lovingly on your heart or belly and repeat one of these mantras or any other mantra that soothes you. So it says, breathing in, I'm aware of my breath. Breathing out, I feel my breath slowing down. Breathing in, I remember I'm worthy of rest. Breathing out, I soften into relaxation. Fantastic. Or, you know, sort of traditional mantras, you can do the Om Mani Padme Om sort of thing. Skip to my loo. That's not the one that I use for mantra, by the way. It's just the example and like the easiest. Skipping, very cool. And I love right here. So this is a Peter Levine practice. Peter Levine, the OG, he's like the somatic experiencing inventor or discoverer, because all these things exist, right? His books are fantastic. Skipping is a bridge that easily takes you from a stress response back to a place of feeling playful and connected. Yeah, it's like, isn't there, it's in a Joan Didion essay where they said if you're like feeling like upset or something like that, you put a bag over your head. And she was like, maybe there's some sort of scientific effect, but like also how can you feel, like it's hard to imagine oneself as being this like dramatic actress. And she had obviously name dropped when you have like a bag over your head, you know, like, and so maybe that's sort of like a part of it too, is like, you know, how can you not feel absolutely just silly and ridiculous when you're just skipping down the street? Okay, so safe space. Locate the most comfortable part of your body. Is it your left pinky, your right ear? Scan your body until you find a spot that feels relaxed, safe, or comfortable. Allow your attention to fully rest there for 30 seconds, exploring the sensation. What color would it be if it had one? I really like doing stuff like this, and like coloring. So at one point I would have like tons of little like a little printout of like a body shaped thing, and then like color it in and like draw, you know, like stars or like whatever sort of things we're feeling, and as a way to like connect to body more. All right. Dance yourself free. Dancing. Sigh of relief. I sigh all the time. I think it's annoying sometimes. Someone actually, when I was younger, pointed it out to me and made me really self-conscious about it. Anyway. Walk and talk. Go out into nature or hop on a treadmill, connect with yourself and a neighbor, and talk. When walking and talking, when done together, activate both hemispheres of your brain, which support the flow of insights and makes it easier to process difficult emotions. I love that so much. I find that it really depends on your company, though. Like, definitely don't walk with someone who's stressful or having maybe even a harder time than you. That's not fun or like helpful. I think it can be more stressful, especially if you have agoraphobia like I do, and walking around is not easy. It's not that easy. But I like that they say treadmill too, because that's makes it, you know, gives me permission, makes it feel more accessible for me. We do have a treadmill and I do use it. I don't usually talk. It's hard. But maybe I'll start doing that. Heads up to all my homies that I voice message with. I'm gonna start getting crazier ones. Child's pose, so more yoga. Forward fold, more yoga. Also, if you go to a yoga class, I've never had a problem with like if I'm falling behind. Like I've taken friends to yoga classes and they don't go because they feel so stressful because they're sort of comparing themselves to other people. And I definitely went through that, I think, at a certain point, but it passed very quickly. And there are yoga classes that I will go to in the past, and I will just be in child's pose the whole time. Like, I'm just like, actually, this is what I need, but I need, like, you know, someone to hold that space for me, which is another important aspect of healing your nervous system. That's one of the reasons that somatic experiencing is so beneficial, is that basically it's someone holding space for you while your body does what it needs to do, and they're encouraging you. Their hands are underneath you, and they can feel your kidneys and these places where, you know, trauma and stress is being stored, like wobble and drop, and you can't feel it, but they can because they're trained to, and they'll like be like, good, and like encourage and stuff like that. And you're like, what is even going on? But like you're internalizing that, and you know, can relax more. That's been my experience, at least. Alternate nostril breathing, fantastic yoga breathing thing. Laugh therapy. Oh my gosh, I love to laugh. Rising sun, falling rain. So I think it's sort of just these. I don't want to read all of them. We got a lot of cards. But yes, sort of. It's a different practice. Okay, soft eyes. Softening in your eyes instantly activates the arm of the nervous system that calms you down and returns mind and body to balance. Growing moon. drawing rainbows. So you do this very, very slowly. Finger holds. Okay, this is interesting. Finger holding is based on acupressure and is a quick and effective way to manage difficult emotions and return you to center. So your thumb is worry or anxiety, pointer fear, anger, middle, ring sadness, pinky self-esteem. That's also very interesting. So choose the finger that represents the emotion you are grappling with and move through all 5. One by one, wrap your opposite hand around each finger firmly for 2 to 3 minutes, or until you feel a gentle throbbing in the finger, which indicates increased blood flow. Wow, this is witchcraft, you guys. That's what this is. Self-hold sequence. I'm not gonna read it all. Rock and roll. So this is another sort of thing that one does in yoga classes a lot. This is interesting. Rocking releases endorphins in the brain, which improves mood and reduces stress, anxiety, and tension. Rocking and swaying effectively self-soothes and produce a feeling of nostalgia and relief. This is incredible. Also with like, you know, a recent discussion on my channel of like neurodivergencies and autism and stuff like that. That's a common thing that people do. And also it's something that people have been taught not to do because it makes other people uncomfortable. I've always been a swayer myself. You know, when I was a kid, I don't know if I did rocking as well. And I had other sort of like stimming, like self-soothing practices, but swaying, especially when I was standing, was always a thing, but I sort of stopped doing it because it made people uncomfortable. And I think that's sort of a part of the unmasking process is like, you know, fuck you, I'm gonna rock and do whatever I have to do to like feel comfortable. And if you're uncomfortable, I can do it over here. You know, like we can compromise sort of thing. Scent of serenity. So this is about having an essential oil or perfume or candle or herb that helps you calm down. This is a journey. I used to have a scent that I really liked and made me feel really confident when I would go out. But after I got the viral infection that plagues us, it gives me really bad migraines. So I'm on the search for a new one. But I do have this is the incense that I use. And it needs to be more subtle. I definitely have tried other incense, but if it's real smoky, I can't do it. I'm learning a lot. So this is for acute stress or anxiety, and this is the yellow cards. Butterfly hug. So this is like a kind of like a little mudra. Vu breathing. Take a deep breath. This is a Peter Levine thing. Awesome. Take a deep breath. Slow, deep in, expanding your belly, and on the exhale, sound the word vu, using a deep foghorn sound from the back of your throat. Okay, let's see. Also, when you're breathing in, always breathe through your nose. Don't breathe through your mouth, like ever. I started reading this book about breathing. I already knew that from like yoga stuff. That's something that they'll definitely tell you all the time. And it was about like the science of like breathing and how breathing through our mouth is really bad. and I had to stop reading it because it was making me paranoid and stressed. But anyway, breathe through your nose and exhale voo through your mouth. Hold tight. Place your right hand underneath your left armpit, leaving your thumb exposed in the front. Use your left hand to gently grip your right arm beneath your shoulder. Breathe into the spaces between your arms, softening your shoulders and your jaw. Softly and sweetly remind yourself, all of my emotions, no matter how overwhelming, can be safely contained here. Yes, it's beautiful. And they also pass. It always passes. Cold reset. This is so good. Cold exposure increases production of mood-elevating hormones, reducing symptoms of depression and anxiety by changing the chemistry in the body and brain. I don't shower very often, but when I do, I always end my shower with cold exposure. I feel less anxious in the winter and like the cold months because I think it's because of the cold. But there's like the Wim Hof method. There's a lot of cold exposure information out there in the world, and it's real. It's definitely real. My therapist told me to keep like ice packs, like the ones that you break and become very cold, in my glove box. To just, what you do is you just put them on your face, like how this person is, like your cheeks from like the bottom up, and sort of push them up. And yes, and when you're showering, if you're doing a cold shower, back of the neck. It's good. Okay, 4, 7, 8, breathing. I feel like that's a thing. A good cry, yeah. If you try to let it out. Sometimes I have a difficult time crying, and so I will, if I feel like I need to cry and it's right there and I can't get to it, I will watch something that's gonna make me cry, you know. But I try to be mindful about it too. So sometimes all it takes is like, I had a friend who was like trying to get me to cry one time because we were talking about how I was like, I just have such a hard time crying, and so he was helping me figure out things to make me cry, which I think is really funny. And one of the things was people succeeding on like So You Think You Can Dance, or like American Idol, like stuff like that. So it was like best American Idol, like emotional American Idol, like compilation things on YouTube, and we watched that and I was just like like just something as simple as that, you know. And then when it comes, it sort of releases all the stress. Knee shoulder taps. Alternate tapping activates the part of the brain responsible for insight, problem solving, and logic. I think this gets into tapping in general, which I'm sure they'll have on here, maybe the emotional freedom technique. Plank, so a yoga thing as well, or I mean, I guess it's like an exercise thing. Planks activate the muscles that store anxiety, releasing that extra energy and helping to improve circulation. Also with yoga stuff, I want to say that for me, if I haven't done yoga for a while, my bad. I can't do these things in the morning, probably because of stuff like this. You know, sometimes the releasing of the anxiety, like, or, you know, releasing in general can feel different. You know, feeling better feels different, and that can feel bad at first. So I try to start doing a lot of these practices in the evening for myself. All right, let's see here. A shocking bite. Bite into a lemon or another equally shocking food. Humming bee breath. Cover your ears with your hands, lie down with your stomach pressed against the ground, and use high-pitched humming. Inhale through your nose, exhale through a closed mouth, making a humming sound. Humming is definitely a vagus nerve thing. This yogic breath produces brain tension and blood pressure, clearing the mind and calming the nervous system. So humming, singing, humming, chanting. I love to do like Galder, like rune chanting, things like that, any sort of mantra chanting. I mean, I've had experiences in yoga teacher training. We did we did the Mangalacharan mantra for 11 minutes, and afterwards I couldn't stand up. Like, these things are not a joke. Like, it's, I mean, I guess maybe some people don't have those same experiences, but for me, I don't have beliefs, I have experiences. And these are some of them. Sweeping hugs. Cross your arms in front of your body and place each hand on the opposite shoulder. Inhale, apply gentle pressure to your shoulders. As you exhale, sweep your hands slowly and firmly down your biceps until they reach your elbows. Increase the benefits of this practice by silently repeating a mantra that is opposite of the feeling you are currently having. For instance, I am safe. Also known as happening, this technique shifts the brain into relaxation mode and boosts oxytocin, a hormone that is normally conjured up by human touching and bonding. So another thing about this mantra stuff that I want to mention, I guess, is I guess one of my own. Maybe I'll mention it at the end. No, I'll just say it right now because I might forget. So another thing in Kundalini, we have these opening mantras and chants. And at the end, there's the Longtime Sun song. So it's, may the longtime sun shine upon you, all love surround you, and the pure light within you guide your way on. And I was having such a hard time at the time when I first was doing Kundalini yoga and doing it in a group. And this sung song at the end, you would sing it three times, one for yourself, one for someone else specific in mind, and then like once for like everyone and the whole world. And there were times when I would just like, I was doing this basically. I was like holding myself, probably rocking and like crying and having such a hard time. And I would just sing that song to myself. Like very, very emotional things. But it's always helpful, and it's always like a friend, I guess. So having like a song, this is Tonglen. This is a Tibetan Buddhist practice, increases our tolerance for distress and increases our capacity for compassion. It is a type of meditation. It's very good. And also I feel like it's one of those things a lot of yogic things too that have been adopted into sort of Western like therapy models too. So when you're looking at these things, you might think, yeah, I do that. Like I know how to do that. Oh, here's the eye thing. So this one specifically looks like an EMDR. It's rapid lateral eye movements reduce activation of the amygdala, the fear and anger center of the brain, and cause the release of dopamine, which creates a feeling of courage. Damn. I was just Googling the other day, how do I increase dopamine? Shake it out, another tried and true method. So there's a type of it's trauma release exercise, TRE, and it's sort of a way of doing progressive muscle relaxation and tensing certain muscles. And if you lay down on your back with your knees up, and your knees will just start to shake. And there's the Peter Levine book about the tiger. Oh my God, what's it called? Waking the Tiger. I mean, in that book, he's explaining like if you watch a video like on Animal Planet or something like that, and the gazelle is being chased by the leopard. I don't know if those are the correct ones. And then after like the gazelle gets away, it'll, it's shaking, and then it'll just get up and go away. And like our brains prevent us from doing that nervous system release shaking. I had a situation years ago, and before I knew any of these things, so many years ago, and I was violently shaking like on the couch, and I was like scared. I was like, what is happening to me? It wasn't like a seizure. It was shaking. It was a nervous system shake. And I was shaking, and if I made myself stop shaking, then I was crying. I couldn't stop crying. And I had friends that were there, and I was just like, what is going on? This is after I started having the panic attacks. And yeah, it was, and it was very not good. But then, last year I had a colonoscopy, and I was very nervous about that, and I was shaking. They're like putting like they're giving me the thing, and I'm like, and I was shaking, and I was like crying a little bit. I was like, don't worry about it, guys. I'm just real nervous, like it's okay. And just like allowing that to happen and not preventing it from happening. And I think this is, I feel like more people are being made aware of like this sort of thing and not preventing it from happening. Because I mean, you get like some sort of like physical trauma happens to you, and they strap you to the table, to the bed thing, and like, take you to the hospital or something. And it's like maybe not always the best, but anyway, sound relief. Create a playlist with songs that elicit happiness or excitement. Sing along. Listening to music and singing at the same time decreases stress hormones and also activates two separate parts of your brain, making it nearly impossible to dwell on intrusive thoughts or anxiety. Hell yeah, slay. I have so many playlists like this. Different ones. I have like mantra ones, like devotional ones. I have sensory songs. I have like ones when I'm driving and I want to like sing along. I sing along to like in the bath. I have ones where I just need like sort of emergency, like quiet ones. It's fun to make. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 grounding. I feel like this is maybe the first one that people sort of, know. Welcome the wave. This is fantastic. I love this so much. When you fight with difficult emotions, hoping to make them go away, stress chemicals get released in the body because you're fighting. Instead, let's try something that is proven to soothe your nervous system when hard feelings arise. Place your hand on your heart, your belly, or wherever emotion is showing up in your body. You can rhythmically tap or rub this area for a more regulating effect. Acknowledge, I am feeling anxious. This is painful and scary, but it makes sense why I would be feeling this way. Explore purpose. Thank you, anxiety, for trying to keep me safe. Welcome. I will take care of you for as long as you need to stay. You are welcome and safe here. Notice what happens. That makes me I'm just pinprickly. Like, it's beautiful. Like, that is the thing That is the thing to do. Also, EFT is a thing too. Here it is. Tapping. Exactly. So, even though I'm feeling blank, overwhelmed, anxious, I'm still deeply and completely love and accept myself. Firmly tap the following points with the tips of your fingers 7 to 8 times each, and then it lists them. So EFT tapping is proven to help process difficult emotional experiences, making them feel more manageable. There are tons of videos online of EFT tapping, and I will try to link some. There was one that I had open on my computer at all times. My computer's broken now, so I don't. But it's this woman who, she is on Instagram as well, and I like her content. It's like, she definitely had like a similar health and food journey, I think, with having really poor health and not being able to eat things and being very afraid of food. And so there was a tapping one about food fears that was just, it's been so helpful for me. I should be doing it again, honestly. I'm having a hard time with food. So yeah, EFT, there's tons for like specific ones. If you can do it yourself, you know, like there's the script and you know where to tap, but if it's helpful to have someone guiding you through it and sort of grounding, then there's so many for anything that you would want online. You can find a person that suits you too. Progressive relaxation. I love progressive muscle relaxations. I often do these in the bathtub. So it's just one by one tensing the muscles in each body part that are listed. And so you just tense and then release. And you can find guided ones of this online very easily. And then self-compassion. So for Yoga Nidra too, it's sort of, it's similar to this in a way where it's not, you're just drawing attention to this part of your body. It's like just listing off parts of your body. Like big toe, left big toe, left thumb, left pointer finger, left middle finger, and it's like someone calmly listing these things off, and you just draw attention, like your attention to these things. It's incredible. That wasn't so much. Okay, and then this last one is self-compassion. It's very difficult to do, and I think one of the helpful things is, you know, having a card like this, maybe writing these things down. There are many people in the world who are suffering in the same way I am right now. We are all deserving of love and peace. All of my emotions, good or bad, are welcome and safe. It's normal and important to experience setbacks and to make mistakes. Oh, so beautiful. I can be gentle with myself here. I'm doing my best given the resources and tools I have in this moment. And there's definitely times where, like, you know, we're angry, and rightfully so, about like a lack of resources or any of these things. But everyone's trying their best and doing their best. And I think too that, like, what's been helpful for me with self-compassion is having people in my life that remind me to be compassionate to myself, because it's not something that I was taught as a child or learned to have, you know, at any point in my life until like the last, like, I don't know, like 7 years maybe, or 5 years. And the people around me really do help me with that. You know, I can absolutely get into these spots of just like, oh my God, I'm such a piece of shit. I'm disgusting. Like, you know, whatever the narrative may be. And the people around me are, like, you know, constantly showing me how to be kind to myself, whether it's through them being kind to me or their kindness to themselves too, you know? And also that it's normal to have little, like, setbacks of just like, not feeling myself today kind of thing. But anyway, I really like this deck. I think that this is probably the one that I like, that I have. And I know that this is, you know, this is an area of deck that I don't really show very often, but I definitely am sort of a wellness deck collector as well, because I don't know, areas I struggle with. Anyway, hopefully this is helpful to Janaki and to anyone else. I think I mentioned she was talking about a deck in her video, and was curious about this deck, so I don't know if I said that. Anyway, bye!